Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Blue Ridge Silverhound, and today we got part 2 of Scott Holliday's, sharing session. So I have about another 8 to 10 coins here that we're going to talk about, but first and foremost, this coin right here, 1960D, Lincoln Cent, is one that I found out of a couple dollars face in penny rolls. This one is RPM number 1, Cherry Picker's Guide variety. We're going to get in close to take a look at this one. So I'm looking forward to it. Pretty nice find. So again, the main idea of this video, Scott has been gracious enough to send me a selection of his coins. Okay, and we're going to talk about it. Okay, there's a few errors. There's a few of them that maybe he's not sure of, but we're going to try and address them the best way that we can. But all in all, Scott Holliday is the consummate cherry picker out there. Okay, he looks for everything, and everything has some sort of value. Believe it or not, I looked through every single coin, and you'll be pleasantly surprised how little and minuscule some of the varieties, errors that he comes across that actually have value in the secondary market. Again, the secondary market, I use eBay, okay, as a prime example of a marketplace where you could sell these. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first one is a 2000p New Hampshire state quarter. It looks very circulated. It says reverse error, so as we flip it over, there's quite a bit of wear on there. Now this could be circulation wear, okay, but the obverse would obviously probably have more wear along the same level as what you see on the reverse. The second route is because of how worn this is, this might be a drier coin. Okay, the only thing that's telling me that it may not be is a lack of any sort of wear on the middle of the coin, which is closely associated with, a drier coin or something that gets stuck in a centrifugal chamber for sorting coins. So that first piece there is kind of a question mark, man. I don't know. Again, I don't know if this is die wear. I don't think it's anything mint made. It is not a die adjustment strike because both sides would have a weak rim. Plus you have full reading on there. So I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. It's a pretty neat oddity. But me personally, I would definitely take this out also because you never know. Let's see. The next coin that we have here is a 2017 Ellis Island National Park quarter. The anomaly in question here is a doubled ear far south. Okay, and I know exactly what he's referring to. If you look right here on this little neckline, okay, you can see a secondary earlobe. Scott, I don't know if you've sent this out to Wexler. I would probably have him check it out and see if he could kind of discern what you have here. If it is a doubled ear, it is certainly in the right spot because of the single squeeze process of the mintage of these coins. It wouldn't be out of the question that there would be a secondary ear just south of the primary ear. So when you get this back, why don't you go ahead and send it off to Mr. Wexler and see what he says on that. All right, so we got a 2004P Wisconsin reverse extra leaf. Now, as we all know, the extra leaf Wisconsins are Denvers. Okay, they're not Philadelphia's, but let's go ahead and see what we have here. It looks like right there's a little bit of a die gouge that is prominent that almost looks like an extra leaf, which is pretty cool. Another thing to note, Scott, and you probably all already know, see these kind of funny areas here on the cow's head. They kind of look, I don't know, they're kind of pebbly. Okay, this is all strike through, so it was struck through quite a bit of grease here. So you have quite a bit of strike through. You have that die gouge right there that forms into what looks like an additional leaf on the ear of corn. But This is a neat piece. I saw this and I just shook my head. I'm like, you know what? Scott's got a great eye. Error specialists look for coins like this, especially those that haven't been attributed. So Scott, well done identifying and finding that one. Pretty neat. Here's a 2009 P, Northern Mariana Islands. All right. So far west tree east of Nor and Northern. I don't know what's on this one. Far west tree east of Nor. So this one, there might be, it looks like a little die break right under there. That kind of looks like a coconut, maybe. I'm not sure. Or perhaps there was mild doubling somewhere in there. I'm not sure. Maybe if you could kind of clarify in the description box exactly what you see here. There you go. That's that one there. That one's more of the biggest question mark in this whole group. This one is incredibly cool. I think I've talked about this coin in the past. It's a 2008 P Arizona State Quarter. It's got the bird cud, the famous tiny little die break chip that's on top of the cactus here that looks like a little bird. I found a few of these in the past, and believe it or not, I sold them for, I think, $5 a piece. It's been about 10 years. I used to do full BU rolls of these, and I would come across things like this. Keep in mind, when you find die breaks or, certain anomalies that have the shape and make sense to people, then, there are collectors that do collect these. They buy them. They spend the market value for them. This is a pretty cool coin. I like this one. So that is the bird die chip. Here's a 2018 P. This is a relatively new one. Cumberland Island. Okay, now this one is pretty easy to identify. It says reverse error, but this one has obvious counter wheel damage that goes all the way around the coin. So this was an end coin at one point for a roll. You can actually see some of the scraping from when the crimper finger goes all the way around the coin to roll the paper onto this one. So you can see the damage kind of drag here over the wing, and you see it all the way around. So if you guys find something like this, that is exactly what it is. I come across these all the time, and it's heartbreaking for sure, because you don't want to see coins, in this kind of condition, ever damaged by, some method like that. So there's a few coins that we will have to get in close on the magnifier. I am happy to say that a number of these are absolutely beautiful. I did some research on what he has found, and they are all fantastic. Again, these are coins that are highly overlooked, but they are definitely worth searching for. So this beauty right here, which has a little bit of toning on it, is a 1960 Jefferson Nickel. This one has some doubling on both the obverse and the reverse. All right, you got some beautiful toning on both sides. So we're going to get in close in the magnifier. This one is probably more on the minor side of doubling. And you will generally find this kind of doubling on like Wexler's site, like doubleddie.com. It's not going to be a cherry picker's guide, but they are neat regardless. And yes, people do pay for these type of varieties. So we're going to take a look at this one up close. We also have a 1956D. This is a double die obverse. It's a Wexler. It's number 53. So there is quite a few double dies to be found in some of these 1950s dated coins. Okay, it's got a triple I, which is where the source of the doubling would be. It's actually remarkable. You guys will enjoy that. So we're going to look at that too. Here's another one right here. This one has a double die, so it's got double eyelid. So we're going to look at that one also. That's number 54. This is a 1970D. This is probably by far and away my favorite coin out of this particular lot. This one has crazy repunched mint mark. Yeah, you're going to have to see it firsthand. So we're going to look at that under the magnifier. And finally, we have this double die Obverse 1982D. This one is a zinc, and this one has a doubled ear, okay? And again, it's a Wexler's number 3. And you can actually see a tiny little bit right there, a wee little lass just sitting there chilling out. This one's also neat. So we're going to take a look at that. So let's go ahead and get in close under the magnifier for these, and yeah, you will love them. All right, we're going to kick off the close-up here with the 1960 D over D RPM that I found in a couple rolls. Pretty nice example. This one grades out at about AU, about uncirculated. And as you can see, we have a pretty strong repunched D west of the primary D mint mark. This is about one of the stronger repunched mint marks that you'll find in the Lincoln Memorial Cent series. Coins like this typically, again, command between $5 and $10. They can be a lot more depending on grade. So if you're finding some of those mint state red examples with this particular RPM, those are definitely your sweet spot for, you know, most amount of money and value. So that's a cool one. I'm glad to find that one. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Jefferson Nickel. Okay, you'll see on this one, again, it exhibits some pretty nice doubling on some of these devices here. As you can see the secondary letters on some of the "In God We Trust." You can see some splitting of the serifs in there. The profile doubling is simply die hop. Okay, so it's got a little bit of deterioration in there. So you can see the flow lines at the bottom of his chin, which is indicative of a set of dies that are kind of wearing down at this point. But yeah, you have some pretty nice, you know, albeit kind of minor doubling on both the obverse and the reverse of the coin. So, you know, you could see it in there. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Let's take a look at the reverse. Again, this coin has some coloring in there. So you can see a little bit of that deterioration, but at the same time, you have some pretty minor doubling in here. Okay, I'm not sure if this is a Wexler's double die. Scott, maybe you could clarify for us if that is indeed the case. It's probably on there, I'm not sure. Look at the M, pretty cool, and the A. So it's pretty tough when you have a set of dies that are pretty well deteriorated, and then you have a little bit of double die. It's sometimes it's kind of hard to kind of differentiate exactly what's real doubling and what's kind of like machine doubling or die deterioration doubling. This one is one of those rare instances where it has both. So pretty cool coin there. So let's see, we're going to end it off on the 1970D RPM. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 1982D large date. This is a double die obverse number 3 right there. Okay, this one has the doubled ear as evidenced by a small little sliver, that tiny little dot right there, okay, which is part of the bottom of the earlobe. Okay, it's not a very powerful double die, but again, you know, you would be surprised how much people pay for something like this. Okay, if you have, again, that 8 to 10 times magnifier power wise, that is definitely what you'll need as far as a great tool while you're looking for these. Generally, I like to tell people if you need something more powerful than 8 to 10 times, it's not even worth talking about. Okay, at that point, you're trying to make too much out of nothing at that point. This one right here is an identifiable Wexler's double die number 3, which if you needed more assistance in, you know, what this looks like online, you can either go on coppercoins.com or go to doubleddie.com. Okay, there are reference photos on there of these coins. All right, so pretty neat websites. I would definitely bookmark them. Excuse me. Allergies. Whew. All right, here's the 56D. This one has the doubled eye. And let's see, I might have to turn this a little bit so we could get a little sliver of the eyelid. Let's see, right here. This spot right here might be the best. Again, it's ever so subtle. It's like the 1982. But you have a second little eyelid right here beneath the primary eyelid. Okay, it's very small and it's very shallow. But again, people look for these because there are variety collectors that want to assemble all of the varieties. It doesn't matter how major or how minor they are. And people actually, you'd be surprised. People pay $5-10 for these type of varieties, okay? Especially ones that are in mid-state, higher grades, like this example here. And then here's a triple I. This one's one of my favorites, probably top 2 or 3 in the whole thing. Okay, so again, we have to kind of turn this in a specific way so that way we could see it, but you could see it right there. You have a tiny little doubled eyelid to the south of the primary eyelid, and then there's another smaller shallow one beneath that. Again, the right lighting conditions play a huge role in actually being able to see these. If you need a stronger magnifier than 8 to 10 times power, it is not a major variety, okay? So keep that in mind. And then finally, we're going to end it off on my favorite coin, and that's the 1970D. Really? Look at this thing. This thing is insane. See the secondary D underneath the primary D? There you go. This one is WRPM 004, and believe it or not, it's also a double die obverse. It's an early die state, so this was produced under one of the earliest set of reworked dies. Okay, so that's why you have such strong apparent features of that repunch mid-mark. This is cool, man. This is great. Thank you for sending me all these coins. I will get this back in the mail for you tomorrow, and I'll update you with a tracking number, of course. I want to thank everyone for joining in on the Scott Holiday Haul, is what I like to call it. But, you know, he's got the right idea. It doesn't matter how minor that double die is or how major, okay? You pull them all aside because in one way or the other, they're all worth something. So with that being said, I want to thank everyone for joining in on this video. Again, I'm your host, Blue Ridge Silverhound. The best way you can support my channel, as always, is hit the like button, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. Go ahead and comment below. Feel free to check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. Keep searching, man. Look throughout your change. You know, between like this 1970D RPM and the 1960D that I found earlier this morning, there's tons out there to be had. And you can make some pretty good money. You know, you kind of like cobble them all together and, you know, it's worth it at the end. You guys take care. Peace. Love you guys. And discovering together.